Hello, and welcome to Superbwoman Sundays at 7. I'm your host, Janet Neal. I'm the founder and queen bee at the Superbwoman Incorporated. I'm so glad that you joined us tonight. Of course, I've got another fabulous, superb guest, Kate Neligan. Before we get to Kate, let me take a minute to tell you about the Superbwoman and why I even do these shows. So a few years ago, I was kind of taking stock of what's going on around me, and I realized the world's a mess. And I thought long and hard on what can I do to help improve things. And what came to me was the realization that women have the power to change this world, and we don't realize it. I have seen so many women give away their power. I've done it myself. And I see women, on the other hand, who are amazingly comfortable in their own skin and as a result are doing wonderful things and putting positive energy back out into the universe. And I know we need that. So what I decided to do was to help women to understand this notion that this belief about being a superwoman is outdated. It serves no one. It only results in burnout and frustration. Instead, I'm encouraging women to take the time to step back, not to do, but to be. To take the time to step back, understand yourself. What are your values? What are your strengths? What are your goals? How does this all work for you? And then craft and live a life that aligns with all of those. It is all about the be. It is all about being superb. And I have been blessed to meet so many superb women on my path that are wonderful examples of this whole concept about living your life by being first. And I knew that I had to share their stories. And so that's what the show's all about. So tonight's guest is no exception. Kate Neligan and I both attended the same graduate school at different times and were introduced through a mutual friend. And Kate has not so much an unusual story in that she was all about climbing the corporate ladder. And at 31 years old, she was a vice president at Lionsgate Films in marketing and distribution. And she was on the path, the golden path. And then something happened. So Kate, tell us your story. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me here. And I love what you're doing because I think more women need this message about coming from a place of being before the doing, and both are important. But really my journey was that climb up the ladder. I've been very driven most of my life. And through the what's next and what am I going to achieve, I realized that there was very little fulfillment in that for me when I actually achieved what I most wanted to. And it was because there was always another goal or another carrot and somewhere to get to, rather than coming into a place of already arriving. And the place of arriving for me is that state of being that you've been talking about, which is really a presence and the higher vibrational ways of being, for instance, being in joy, being in gratitude, being in appreciation and pure presence, being in the moment. And so I had to, through getting a master's in spiritual psychology, really come into myself as a spiritual being in a body rather than as this driven mindset of what's next. And through that, I've just found a lot more fulfillment. And also through that, I left that ego lifestyle and the pursuit of perfection, which is actually the name of my TEDx talk. Yeah. And I've come into really being with my dreams and co-creating them. And for me, that's two things. It's one, it's conscious media. I still love the entertainment industry and I love movies, but I love mindful movies. Movies that demonstrate ways of being and solutions in the world. And so I created Synergy TV Network, where we curate hundreds of uplifting and inspiring videos. And I also am an empowerment career coach. And the way that I love to work with people the most is through equine assisted coaching. So I pair horses and humans together on the ground so they can really cultivate a different way of being and make more conscious choices in the world.
That's so fabulous. So I can just see you being, you know, there's the couple of times that we've had conversations, I so can see you as that driven person. And to be able to step back and to acknowledge that must have been a big step for you. So what was it that made you, you said you were unhappy, you were not feeling fulfilled in your job. Why did you decide to go to graduate school then?
Yeah, I think, you know, the University of Santa Monica really shifted many things for me, many of which was my belief systems about who I am, why I'm here, and what my purpose is. And so through that self-inquiry that I was doing at the time, I realized that my studio job wasn't fulfilling me in many ways because it was driven from the ego's need to be seen, to feel important, to make a lot of money. And those things can bring safety and security, but don't necessarily bring happiness. And what I was realizing, what makes me happy is being of service, not doing of service. And also getting back to the core of what it is I love the most, which is really the creativity of movies, the storytelling, and helping people grow in consciousness and being around horses and being outside in nature. So it was really an inquiry, and a lot of it came down to me asking myself questions of, okay, if I could double my salary right now, would I still be happy? And the answer was no.
Yeah.
And I was also selling horror movies, which is so out of alignment for who I am. And so there's no way that I could do that anymore. I mean, it was literally soul crushing. And I knew that there had to be another way that I could make money, another purpose for me in this world. And that was my dream job, but I gave myself permission to dream again and to dream something new, something that was more in alignment with my heart.
Oh, I love that statement. I gave myself permission to dream again. I think that's really important because I think where a lot of people get hung up is they've had this dream, they've worked so hard for it their whole life, and then if it doesn't seem like it's working out, if you're not happy, then what? So I love what you're saying about giving yourself permission to dream again, because it really is, it's looking at life more, it's fluid rather than this static kind of thing. It's beautiful. So talk a little bit more about this working with the horses, because this is a unique approach, and I've heard a couple of people who have done this, but tell people a little bit more about that, how you work with the horses.
Sure. Yeah, the horses have an incredible state of being. And to me, they pair very critical things that humanity needs to look at as a form of role model. And that to me is kindness and gentleness paired with strength and power. And to me, that's actually the highest version of a woman in her authentic self-expression, which is really being powerful and also coming from a place of compassion and kindness. Because a horse, while they are a prey animal, they are extremely strong creatures. They're, you know, over 1,000 pounds, and many people are actually a little intimidated by them because of their size. And they can hurt us at any moment, but they don't. And, you know, they actually really want more than anything our partnership. And so they demonstrate ways to be in partnership with ourselves, which to me, all of my work comes down to self-love and helping people cultivate more self-love. And they demonstrate partnership in corporate groups and teams. So I do corporate training with the horses, partnership in romantic relationship. And I've helped people actually call in new relationships because of working with the horse, and with family dynamics as well. And it's really because the horses mirror our psyche, and they have metaphorical body language. So what will happen, it's very awe-inspiring, and it's very surprising as well, because people will see themselves in a brand new way, and they'll often laugh and go, oh, that is so me, because the horse is doing something that displays what's going on in their life and in their mindset. So they really shine a light on the storytelling, and I'm there as a conduit or a bridge between really the horse medicine and horse consciousness and humanity starting to wake up.
Wow. Yes, I personally have years ago experienced that myself before I knew that horses were a mirror to what you're feeling. When I was in a contentious relationship at the time and went on a horse ride and fought this horse the entire time. It was this huge power struggle between the two of us. So when someone pointed out to me how they mirror, I went, oh yeah. So I could attest to that. So you say you work with corporate teams, you work with individuals, and you're based where?
Yeah, I'm in Los Angeles, and I currently work at a ranch in Malibu, and I will be starting to work at a couple other ranches in Los Angeles. And I'm also very open to traveling and doing this work on retreat or on location anywhere in the world. And all horses can do this. Some of them are better than others at it, like some of us are better coaches than others. But yeah, I'm based here, and I definitely love to help a lot of women really who are in career transition or coming to realize they're unfulfilled with their current work, but are looking for something that's more meaningful, that feels like their calling. And also the corporate groups, because they need mindfulness training, they need authentic leadership skills, and they need to become more compassionate with themselves and with others. And I saw a lot of issues inside of the studio world, and I've actually now helped a very large studio and some other great corporate groups with really slowing down and becoming more present, and from the state of being, creating strategies that they can implement, but first considering, how does this affect me, my lifestyle, my happiness, in addition to how does it affect the bottom line, and how does it affect my employees? Is this the right decision we need to be making? And to really start to consider the partnerships that are at play and the stakeholders, the way the horses are doing that in their own herd dynamics.
It's fascinating. And listening to you talk, I can, another great example of using your past experience in your new experience, because you still have that business acumen and languaging, but you're bringing it to a different audience in a different way, in a different level. That's great. So, I talk about how we can't do this by ourselves. So who has helped you on your path?
Yeah, there's so many. If I had to give an Oscar speech, it would take a while. There's really, in my career, I had an incredible mentor at the movie studio who really taught me a lot and believed in me and let me do some incredible charity campaigns and really showed me the ropes. And I do believe that everyone needs that in a career. And if it's not your boss, it can be someone near you that you can ask for mentorship. So I think, I've been a mentor for many people in my career, but I loved having my boss as my mentor. And, my mom is someone who has always believed in me as well, and really shown me through example and through conversation that I can do anything that I choose to do. So I'm so grateful that she's always been that presence for me, and has shared a lot of wisdom with me over the years as well. And the horses are helping me more than anything. I've had mentors who've trained me how to do the equine assisted coaching work, and who keep me in a place of integrity and authentic self-expression through putting respect first with the horses. And that I'm finding new mentors, and that's exciting to me. But the horses have really helped me the most. They have helped me go from a place of being extremely driven and goal-oriented to coming into a place of being. And they don't partner with me to do work until I've cleared some of my emotional funk when I get to the ranch,
Hmm.
or until I've really owned where I'm at. And so they have helped me come into understanding powerful ways of being in the world. And they also, they continue to teach me new lessons all the time. So I'm very grateful for them. And I'm also grateful for my higher self and my intuition, because she's my best friend. She's what I call the conscious rock star. It's the part inside that shines, that knows the answers, that can see the bigger picture. And her advice is spot on every single time. And I talk to her all day long, as often as I can. And as I've grown her voice, that voice of the ego, which is go do more, go have more, go be more, the not enough voice has diminished. So that intuitive voice, the conscious rock star, my higher self, that is really, I'm so grateful for her, because that's changed my life.
I'm curious, when you were talking, I was thinking about this from two different perspectives. First, you as a child. When you were a child, were you involved with horses, or are horses a new thing for you?
Yeah, I've been with horses since I was 10. I probably loved them from day one. I've always been a huge animal lover. My first word was cat. All the stickers that I got in second grade were cat stickers. Everyone else had regular smiley faces because my teachers rocked that much. And, you know, watching all the horse movies when I was young, it was always about how amazing would it be to have this majestic creature join me with no tack or anything, and just be with me, and choose to share their energy with me. And that's a lot of what my work is evolving into. It's liberty training, which is really just authentic pairing without the tack and the control and all of that. So yeah, they've been in my life my whole life. I took a break from them in my 20s for some lame excuses, but really I've been back with them now for my 30s, which has been great.
I asked the question because I have found in my working with clients that if I have them talk about their childhood, they're and what made them happy then, it is so indicative of what's going to make you happy as an adult. So I was curious to see whether or not horses were there. And the other thing that I was curious about was, you talk about your conscious rock star, which I love that that terminology, and that her voice has gotten louder. Do you remember as a child, did you hear that inner voice then? And was it a thing where it diminished and now has come back?
You know, that's an interesting conversation. When I was younger, I've always been highly sensitive, and I didn't realize it when I was younger. I did hear voices. I did not know what they were when I was young, and I shut it out. I was scared of it.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, I've always been very much in tune with whatever you want to call it, in the intuitive voice, the direct knowing, the higher channels of communication that exist. And I did shut it out for a while, and I'm so grateful it's back. And really, USM, when I got my master's in spiritual psychology, as you know, cultivates that relationship and that voice in such a powerful way, and was the #1 best thing that I got out of that master's program. And my intuition's really strong because I work with it all the time. So very grateful to have it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And just to clarify, when you're talking about the voices, just so people don't think that you're like, you know, hearing hearing a lot of voices out there, it's more the intuitive hits, right? It's more the, explain it to us.
You know, intuition shows up differently for all of us because there's different clairs, clairaudient, clairsentient. There's different forms of guidance systems. And so everyone's a little different. I think for me, I had a lot of psychic ability when I was young, but I was scared of it, and I turned that off.
Yep.
And so now, it's cultivated for me in many different ways. I do hear guidance. I see signs and signals and clues all the time. And I know things without knowing how I know them. Right. So I don't know at what age that was there, but we're all gifted with intuition. It's right. Not special in any of us. It's just the way it shows up for different people is different.
Yeah. And I think your point is an important one. And I've seen that in my own life, in the life of a lot of clients, that we allow that ego voice to overtake any other. And so that other voice gets very, very quiet or even lost sometimes. So I think your point is a good one.
Yes, and that for me was what it was. I had this ego voice that was the driver that made me do things, and it's still there. It's not that I've mastered this, but it's a work in progress, and I've come so far with being able to only listen as often as I can to the voice that feels like truth, to the voice that feels loving, that feels wise, that feels good to me. And that every time I implement and follow it, there's zero regret. In fact, there's just a lot of happiness, versus the ego voice, which is driven from a place of unworthiness, lack, scarcity, and fear. And so often clients will ask me, well, how do I discern the voices? And really your body and this is why I love the horses help us become more embodied. Your body is that tool for the discernment of, does this feel good? And is that voice helping me to shine and move forward and do more of what I want? Or is it shutting me down more? And you'll know there's either expansion or constriction going on. And that's one of the ways that you can understand how which voice really you want to listen to.
That's fabulous. That's great advice. A very good analogy there. So another thing that we talk about and that I have found that superb women embody is they have realized that the shoulds that so many of us live by, contain the guilt and are really of no value. So what shoulds have you released in your life?
Yeah, I love that you asked this question, because to me the word should is now a swear word. And I can't even hear the word should anymore without cringing and wanting to run. And it's because, and often if you notice, a lot of people put shoulds on us, and they say that word a lot. To the point where I've actually helped train my father to no longer say the word should to me. And if he does, he catches himself and stops now, which is amazing. And I no longer say it to myself. And if I do, I catch myself. But the word should has a forceful nature to it. And it often serves to make us feel bad about something. And most of us are hard on ourselves, and most of us will use it as a way to beat ourselves up. And so I just think it's a fear-based system. And the reality is the opposite word is I want to, or I get to. And so I actually work with clients on retraining their language to be more true and to be more expansive. And so for me, the biggest should that I've really worked with recently, which was operating not through me telling myself you should, but through me feeling it on some level, which was that I should be further along in my business. I should have a bigger audience on Facebook. I should have, more. That's again, that ego voice of it's not enough right now. And I realized one day through an incredible training seminar, because I always believe in being a student, that I needed to throw away that pressure, because it was just actually keeping me in a constricted place rather than moving into the expansion of serving and working with more people. And so I've come to full acceptance of where I'm at right now is great. And it doesn't mean I'm going to be here in 5 years or even in 6 months, but where I'm at right now is great. It doesn't mean that I then don't take action and that there's no motivation, but the motivation is from then a place of love of, well, what do I want to do? What do I want to create? What do I get to do? Rather than I should, I have to, I need to have more audience because for some reason that's when society will deem me as then good enough, which is not true because we can't ever measure that anyways. And everyone's opinions are different. So why, what are we really listening to? Again, I always go back to, does it feel good to live with shoulds? Or does it feel good to live with I want to? We are creators, so we get to create what we most want.
Absolutely. Oh, that's beautifully said. I was like nodding. Yes, yes, yes. Everything you were saying. So, another thing that I found is that gratitude seems to be important in the lives of superb women. How does that work in your life?
Gratitude is the key ingredient to a happy life. And I believe in gratitude journals, but more importantly, I believe in gratitude throughout the entire day, for gratitude for everything. I have a friend that lost a hand in a tragic car accident, and it made me so grateful just to have my hands and my feet and my limbs, that every day I was doing gratitude for that, because it's a wake-up call, it's a reminder. And there are so many things that we're blessed for. The people who are doing their life work and their calling and their purpose, even if it's a bit of a struggle in terms of you're just starting or you're not as far along as you'd like to be, to come into the gratitude that you know why you're here. You're doing your life purpose. And even if it's not as much as you'd like to be doing yet, you're still doing it. To me, I had to really shift. And I have great friends around me. So if I ever get into a place of not being grateful, they are there for me to say, you are doing your life work. What is better than that? And it's true. And so as often as I can express gratitude for the little things and the big things, the more the universe goes, oh, she seems to like that. Let's give her more of that. So to me, it's magnet energy. And I work with my clients on this because I have a couple of clients that are pretty depressed. And the biggest issue with them is the mindset that something's wrong, rather than coming into acceptance and laser focusing on what's right in their worlds. And there are always things that are right, no matter where you are or what's going on with you. There are always things that are right.
Yeah, that's great. That's fabulous. So, okay, what's next for you? What's on the horizon?
Yeah, there are many things because I get excited about possibilities in life, and I love co-creating new things. So I am excited about how the work with the horses will unfold. I'm working on an incredible film called Changing Horses, where we're interviewing people about the role that horses are playing in the evolution of consciousness. And that's exciting. And it's a marriage between my love of movies and my love of horses. And I have a lot of speaking engagements coming up, which I'm excited about, because that to me is another one of my passions, and the way that I can be a demonstration or a role model and be of service. So I love that. And I'm working on a book about the horses as well, which will be coming out probably around the same time as the film, which is exciting. And then these are, because I know you have this incredible women's audience, the power of being, notice it says being, and
Perfect.
the power of being a woman. So this in many ways is the re-envisioning of that superwoman that you talked about before, and the superb, you know. So this is my story's in here. And this was out recently and is an Amazon bestseller. And you also mentioned this in your introduction as well, so we're very aligned. And this is called Women Will Save the World. And it's about the different qualities. And I have a section on trailblazing about the different qualities that women can bring to uplifting the planet. Not that we need to take responsibility to save anything, but that we can really take responsibility, as you said, to do your part in making it a better place here. And that's why I love your work and what you're doing. And really, that's what's next for me. Continually checking in on how can I make my world and other people's worlds better.
Fabulous. Oh, that's fabulous. Well, Kate, I want to thank you so much for being on the show tonight. Your message is one that I needed to hear again, and for everyone out there. So thank you very much for sharing that with us, and thank you for the work that you're doing.
Thank you.
Thanks. So thank you for joining us tonight. And you'll see at the end of this video that there's going to be a slide that will tell you how to reach Kate and to learn more about what she's doing. And then you'll see a slide that talks about my latest offering called The Tribe. I believe that we all need somebody to have our back. And like I was talking about with Kate, you know, we can't do this by ourselves. And so the Tribe is an online community for women to be able to support each other, to ask for help, to gloat and have people there for you. So check it out. You'll see the information at the end of this video. And go to my website at thesuperbwoman.com for more information. And next week we'll have another fabulous, superb woman. So join us then. And until then, have a superb week. Thanks.